each other's journey for a long, long time now. And so I've been trying to get this set up for this one-on-one with you and I for since actually last year. So it's been quite some time, just catching up with you. And so the first question I really want to kind of ask you is tell me more about your journey and your faith in following Christ.
Okay, so my journey and my walk with Christ, I feel like it's different between like each seasons because each season like God will reveal himself to you differently. So
Okay.
definitely like a learning progress and definitely like growing and patient because a lot
Hmm.
like we want to do stuff so quick or we want it done so now like I want to change, I want to change now. I don't want to go through the process.
Right.
If I want a successful business, it need to happen overnight. Like, you know what I mean? So just my walk and my you walk and journey with God has taught me like a lot of patience and to just understand and build it, brick by brick, like one step at a time. So
Right.
really like what I hold on to, just to keep going and understanding and knowing that like God didn't bring me this far to leave me. So
So would you say consistency still showing up and being consistent in your walk with him, um,
yes,
and being patient because you got to be patient and you got to be consistent. But are you saying like, when you're in this journey through and between these seasons, because and we know that God has spoken to us, or we know that God has promised some things to us, but this generation we live in always we want it so fast. We want it right now. And even from my own journey, I'm learning that when we're walking through those different seasons, or we know that God has promised us something, and that patience, but it's also building up endurance to get through those seasons. And so I get it. I kind of understand that patience. And sometimes it is very, very hard. But even when you're not seeing the results that you want or that you expected, still being consistent and the things that God has spoken to you, because we know that every and each one of those parts is getting us, or those steps or those seasons is getting us closer to where it is that he is, pretty much taking us. So my next question for you is, tell me, as a young adult and a believer in the Lord, how do you stay focused on Jesus with so many different influences around you?
okay, so that is a big one. I just say you have to be mindful. Like you have to be mindful of, who's around you. You have to be mindful of what you're listening to, music, TV, like just different things of that aspect. Because a lot of the times it'll be distractions all around us, like you say. So like if you're watching something that could distract you from, what it is that you should be doing at that time, or a message that they're conveying, whether it's through the music, whether it's through TV, or any of that sort, you want to make sure that you're being mindful and just keeping your eyes on God, because like once you start like looking everywhere, or even if you start getting distracted, like you will start to see that like outside influences or the world, could damper you, you know what I mean? So it's best to just stay focused and just stay hooked on God and understand and know like it gets better. So
Okay.
that's like the main focus, is just to be mindful of what you're intaking, your soul, your body, your spirit, your mind. That's something that's very important to keep you, stayed on God. Like we want to be more like him, you know what I mean? So do the things that he did, fast, just all types of things like that.
Because all of those things that are important. So one of the scriptures that I love, it talks about bad company corrupts good character. And so having those godly influences around you and guarding your ear gates, guarding what you're seeing, all of those things are very important because it's so easily to be influenced by those things. And I think like at times, especially when we are still growing so much in him, those things can be a serious distraction, because when God is moving you forward, it can be so easy to go back to what you once knew, or some of the things that God has brought you out of. So being able to move forward, you have
Here,
to keep your
me.
mind on him and have those godly influences around you. Because I think about it like this, one of the scriptures where the Bible talks about two is better than one. And I think about if I'm going through something, sometimes I may need somebody to be stronger that can pull me back up when I'm going, the wrong way, or and vice versa, because that's important. It's important to always have, somebody or a good friend or a good person, a good influence that can step in, when things are not looking too good for you. So
Yeah.
on to our next question. The next question that I have for you is now, because we're talking also about, two is better than one, but also a support system. Tell me
Yeah.
more. How do you keep your faith so strong? Like, do you think that having a great support system or a faith-based support system is kind of like very important for you? Or how do you, manage with everything going on, or your support system? What does that look like?
Okay, so first and foremost, what I focus on is like my relationship with God, so
Mhm.
that I know that, we are locked in. And then when it comes down to like the people that's supporting me, I just basically be me and then allow them to be themselves. And then that's how we grow and learn together. But usually, like, if you are going through something, there will be someone to pull you up and to uplift you or tell you like, what you like, you're not doing the right thing, or you know what I mean? So just a lot of the times it's immediate family, certain a lot, honestly, if I'm being honest. um, in this journey that I currently in, I used to have a lot of friends, you know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
as you continue to grow and as you continue to learn and, just change your behaviors and do things differently, you tend to, I wouldn't say lose people, but, you tend to outgrow people. So,
Right.
sometimes God can put you in a season of isolation where it's just you and him and you guys are building, you're growing, and, he'll bring new friends or new support groups and new people around you that's, for the purpose that he intended you to do for your life.
Right.
So
hmm
I
And so
think,
you said to be honest, and I love that because I think that we are, definitely in a season where transparency is very, very important, because I believe that God wants us as individuals to be honest with Him, especially about what's going on, where we at, different situations, just almost everything, And one of the things that I've, experienced even myself as well too is pretty much like that wilderness season, and
okay.
I've learned kind of to appreciate that season, because it's in that season where you start to hear more clearly, you start to see things more clearly. You start to, grow in that relationship with God more, because now you're reliant on Him more than anything else. And definitely that loss that comes with it, because sometimes I don't always know if it's just you're outgrowing people, or sometimes it may just be the season, or sometimes it may just be the plans that God had for you in this season, and those things or those people that it doesn't align with where God is taking you. And I find myself to, you know now at this age, and probably not then when I was a little bit much younger, to understand that that's okay, and to be acceptant of that, because sometimes it's always not, you don't always accept it, because then you start to think like, okay, what's going on with that? But sometimes it's not that it's always a bad thing. It just means that where God is taking you now, that chapter or those things doesn't align with where God is trying to take you in your next journey, or for your next, And so I definitely understand that. And sometimes when you feel like you're losing some things, but all the time we're not losing, we're actually gaining so much more, because the clarity that we get, the understanding that we get, the more knowledge, building our personal relationship with the Lord is worth it in the end.